Hey, you guys, it's Coach Taylor here with the Taylor Training Podcast, where we discuss any and everything related to health and wellness. I have a guest with us today, and we'll be discussing perimenopause and the book The Way Out by Alan Gordon. Ways of healing chronic pain that is science backed. All right, without further ado, I'm going to introduce our guest for the day, Abby Glogower. She's an archivist, educator, community historian, and sometimes she likes to write, and she works in Western Massachusetts, if I can get that out. She loves her family and friends, bike riding, hiking with her dog, and simply vegetarian cooking, as well as healing her inner child, as we are all on a journey to do while she is living her best life in her middle age. Here we go. Abby, how you doing today?
I'm doing well, Aisha. Thank you so much. It's so
Thank
cool to be
you.
here with you.
Yes, thank you so much for taking the time to do this. Okay, so I wanted to ask you, how's life in Massachusetts right now?
Well, it's really rainy here right now. We got kind of crazy weather events. It's pretty good. It's not too bad.
Okay.
Trying to just, find that work-life balance that everybody talks about. It's very mystifying. I feel like that's one of those things everybody talks about, but what that
Hmm.
actually means is kind of like hard to decode.
Yeah.
So yeah, coming home from work,
Yeah.
trying to get the life balance in here.
Yeah. I was watching an interview with someone, and it was like you never really actually get established that life balance. It's like 1 minute you're here, 1 minute you're there, so it's really difficult to establish that life work balance. Um, so I wanted to speak on how we first met, how we got here to this to do this podcast, right? So, do you remember how we first met?
Well, yeah, we met through my good friend and your friend and client, Heather Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And she had been working with you for a while. You were her trainer.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally she came to me and she said, "Sis, why don't you come do training sessions with me and my trainer, Aisha? She's gone off into business for herself. She's not working at the Y. She's building up her clientele. And she's like, I think you'd really like her." And at first I was kind of resistant, like, oh man, trainer, like I'm not a workout kind of person. But Heather's not really like that either.
Yeah.
And she was saying, she's like, no, this is going to be really good for us. We can just do it with her like one day a week after work. She's going to meet us right where we are. And so I was like, okay, I would like to do that. And then I think we exchanged some messages with you, like we
Yeah.
texted with you a little bit. And then before I knew it, we were meeting at the gym, like I think on Wednesdays after work, maybe.
Yeah, and we've been going strong for what, 3 4 years, 3 4 years now.
Yeah, I mean, I came back to you because I left Louisville
Yeah.
and but I realized I really still needed some of that support,
Yeah.
like I wasn't going to discipline myself to keep up with working out. I mean, I could go to the gym and stuff, but that's for easy things like
Yeah.
going on the elliptical, the
Yeah.
harder things, like the things with weights or resistance or core strength. I was like, I
Right.
need someone. And so I'm really glad that we like reconnected a little over a year ago to kind of resume our training cross distance between
Yes.
Kentucky, Massachusetts.
Absolutely. Yes. Louisville, Massachusetts Connect. So, like, the apprehensiveness that you had with personal training, I kind of felt a little bit of that for the podcast, right? But I wanted to ask, like, what were you most nervous about with being a podcast interviewee?
Well, besides talking in front of whoever listens to this, I mean, I think my first thought was, well, I'm not a fitness person, right? Like I kind of, in some ways, think of myself as an opposite of a fitness person. Like I'm not particularly disciplined or ripped or, you know, even especially good at my workouts. I don't do anything exciting like run marathons or, all the like really cool things that people do. So I was like, why? I don't know why she wants to talk to me.
So
um,
that's a perfect segue into the next part, right? So it's your birthday. So I think this is so awesome to be able to do because I want to tell you the reason why I wanted to specifically interview you.
that's
Right.
my
So I
birthday
get to
present.
gloat about you a little bit on your day, right? So
Go
what
on.
I yeah, and you deserve it, right? So I'm not looking to connect or polarize the everyday influencer, the everyday celebrity, or like that is who I'm looking to polarize, is the everyday celebrity, the person, the people that live, that we get to see every day, not the celebrity, not the influencer with a million followers. And when I first met you, I was inspired and enamored by you because of the way you carried your personality. I'm pretty sure you don't feel this way, but seeing you, I always felt like you lived boldly in who you were. I really did. I really
That's
do.
a
And I
great
and I still
compliment. Wow.
yes, I still see that. You're living your life, you're living your truth. It's like, for me, seeing you maneuver in the fitness world, or work our workouts and stuff, and then us being able to communicate outside of the gym and connect outside of the gym, just seeing how much you embody like your true identity, like me being around you and seeing you, it's like who you are. And I love to see that. I love to be around people who can embody that and who know who they are. So that's one of the reasons why I wanted to interview you, but also because with me, right, you share so much great information. Okay. You're always, and this is a love language of mine. It's a really huge turn on when people try to put you on to information or share information, put you on the game. Um, so that's what you did for me with perimenopause, because I had no clue what it was about. So can you tell me, like, or share with us, like, how you came across perimenopause, or what perimenopause means to you?
Absolutely. And I want to thank you. There's no greater gift to a Leo than
My sister
than
fire
getting
sign.
praise like that. And a lot of I think we connect on a lot of those things. And I want to like just remind everybody that, it's like what you put out is what you're going to get back, right? So something you put out there is a genuine curiosity about like how bodies work, right? Not, I mean, you have the anatomy knowledge, of course, but you're just like, I think we started talking about chronic pain stuff because you were really signaling to me that you were open to talking about that stuff. You are very open and honest with people about your own challenges and your own journey with I guess maybe like body things that we can't control, right? Like
Mhm.
things happen to us and happen to our minds and our bodies at different stages in our lives, and then we have to kind of like work with that. So you kind of set that tone. You helped open up that conversation for me. And so I was able to share a little bit about some of my journey with chronic pain, which goes back in time. And I think, you know, the perimenopause thing, it sort of builds on that, right? It starts with a sort of curiosity about noticing what's going on with yourself, like noticing what's going on with your body and with your mind. And then if it seems weird or off, you know, kind of leaning into that curiosity and trying to figure out what's going on there. I really credit my older women identifying friends for helping teach me about perimenopause. And it's something that I only started learning about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. Before then, I kind of had this, I just didn't have any kind of body education really about what happens in midlife. And this is so embarrassing to admit, but I thought that menopause was just like at some point in your 50s, you stop having a period.
Yeah, same here.
Then, you know, and that's it. And come to understand from listening, hearing things from my friends, and then starting to read and learn a little more. Like, obviously, it's not like that. It's a whole long process, right? Just like puberty doesn't happen once, right?
Right.
There's not like one moment of puberty. There's like these years where you're like, oh, I'm getting zits, or, you know, like my hair is growing, or, you know, things are changing. And so coming to understand perimenopause is like this kind of period of biological change, and also, you know, physical and psychosocial, emotional change that happens as a process of menopause. There's not like one poof menopause moment, you're done. It's those kinds of years, like, and changes leading up to menopause. And so I don't know exactly, it does not begin at the same time for everybody. Some people going through this stuff in their 30s. Some people don't feel anything until their 50s. But coming into my mid 40s, I was noticing just some changes, right? In some physical stuff, some like cognitive stuff. And that's what drove me to kind of just get curious and start asking and reading and learning and asking questions and sharing what I was learning with other people too.
So can you share like some of the signs and symptoms that you were experiencing that may have you know, signal you to look?
Yeah. Right. So the most obvious thing that people use to kind of track menopause or perimenopause is changes in their menstrual cycle. That's the most obvious one. For a number of reasons, I have been on a hormonal IUD for many years. That has worked very, very well for me. Something I talk about a lot, and I actually just made a zine about it. This is a sidebar for my friend's daughter who just got her first period. I wrote a zine called "It's Okay to Not Love Your Period," an affirmation.
Is that available? Was that like available anywhere?
I'll mail it to you. I just made it. It's not available really anywhere.
Okay.
But I've always struggled a lot with menstruation. I found it to be a really difficult, unpleasant, like painful, uncomfortable process. I did not like it. And a hormonal IUD has been really, really helpful for me in mitigating those symptoms. But like many people who have a hormonal IUD, I stopped having a period, which is great. And I recommend it to a lot of people who want to go that route. But the most obvious, you know, symptom tracker was not really available to me. And I should say, you know, health is also interlocking, right? I started noticing I think the big things I was noticing were a loss of energy, like physical energy. I just felt a little more tired than usual. I think cognitive, like irritability and cognitive issues were really hard for me to, like, not being able, like, I used to be so sharp with names and faces.
Mm-hmm.
I would remember faces and I would remember names. That was like my kind of social gift, you know?
Yeah.
And then coming into my mid 40s and starting to struggle with that and just being like, what's going on here? Is this long COVID?
Uh,
Um, and just talking about my symptoms with some of my older friends are like, you know, that could be related to your hormones. You should start looking at your hormones.
yeah.
Um, and there's some other stuff going on there. Also, I also had a nurse who was really helpful with helping me.
That
Like,
was like getting your hormones tested. Was that like your biggest giveaway that you were perimenopausal?
so no, something I've learned, you can't hormones. Our hormones, like our estrogen level, our testosterone level, those are always fluctuating.
Mm-hmm.
So they test you could do a test to get your progesterone, sorry, I'm mispronouncing it, to get your
Progesterone.
testosterone, yeah, your testosterone, all your hormones tested. What it is a point of data in time,
Yeah.
but tomorrow could be different. So it's
Mm-hmm.
very hard. You would have to track over a long time. So that's really not a great way to test it, but they kind of go by your symptoms. And it's like, if getting some hormone boosting is helpful to
Yeah.
you, then it's helpful to you, you know,
Yeah.
like it's very hard to test for. And that was explained to me. Um,
Okay.
and I think the other piece that's not necessarily perimenopause related, although it can be, and in my case, it was related to midlife, is if you're another way that hormones could be out of whack is if you have a thyroid condition, which
Mm-hmm.
it turns out I do have.
Okay.
And that can be tested and controlled with medication, but that's something that people can also develop at any point in life. But I think it's a little more common to start developing it as you advance a little longer. So there's a lot of hormone stuff out there that we don't know.
Yeah. And like, yes, with women's health, as a trainer, that is something that is just now really being studied. Because a lot of the issues that women deal with on a regular basis has never been studied. It's we've been under the male umbrella for so long, and our bodies do not operate like men's bodies do hormonally. And our hormones do play a huge role in how we operate as women.
Oh my gosh, there's this podcast called Cramped with Kate Helen Downey, all about like menstruation and how little attention science has actually paid to everything related to like women's reproductive health. And they talk about that a lot. And I think we're in the midst of a little bit of an information, like cultural revolution around menopause and perimenopause. Because I feel like my mother's generation were those people who were told that you can't have hormone replacement therapy because it could give you cancer. But it turned out that science was like not really true. And so we're coming out of a generation of women who were just told to kind of like deal with it.
With it, yes. Hattie's
Whatever
baby.
they were
Yeah,
dealing
deal
with. And I'm like, I don't want, like, no, I need help dealing with everything in my life.
Yes. And for those that are not familiar with what the definition of perimenopause, it is the transitional phase leading up to menopause, where women's ovaries the lose the ability to produce estrogen. All right. So you mentioned, like, going back a little bit, you mentioned sharing the chronic pain, right? Being open to that. So I want to kind of lead into the book, The Way Out. Because do you feel like there is anything in the book, The Way Out, that could help with getting through, like, the effects of perimenopause.
Oh, that's so interesting. And I really want to try to thread together a connection between these things. Okay, I feel like if you pick up any skills in a good humanities education, it's to try to make connections between things. Okay, so The Way Out, which is a book that I have dealt with chronic pain off and on since my mid-30s. I a bad back injury when I was preparing for my comprehensive exams for my PhD. And I don't even know what happened. And this is the interesting thing, right? Like there was not like a moment where I was in a car crash or I injured myself playing sports. I was doing a lot of very intensive, like hunched over like research and writing. I turned in 100 pages of writing to my dissertation committee, culminating a really long amount of work. And the next day, like I couldn't sit up in bed. Like, and this really began a years-long journey of trying to understand how somebody who's really healthy and active, and never had any problems before, could be like constantly plagued by this recurring pain in my back. And it's a long journey. I also want to credit, I'm going to give a shout out to an amazing physical therapist at Court PT named Dr. Chad Garvey. He was in Louisville, maybe in Indiana. And he helped me tremendously with my chronic pain. And this is like rewinding back to like 2018 when I was seeing him. I would go in for physical therapy. And I realized we weren't doing physical therapy, like exercises. He was asking me all these questions, like, well, how do you feel about your pain? What do you think about when you're in pain? Like, what does your pain keep you from doing? And I was like, why are we spending so much time talking about my feelings? Like, when do we get to the rubber bands, you know? And he introduced me to something that I think really comes through, is developed so fully and accessibly in this book, The Way Out, because it's written by a therapist, like a mental health therapist, not by like a medical doctor, which is that pain is a neuropsychological condition, right? The pain, it took me a long time to realize the pain doesn't live in my body. Like it doesn't live necessarily in the site of the injury. It lives in these, like the communication in my nervous system, right? The signaling to my brain. And the way what's the way I feel about those things is gonna help cement the communication pathways. So like in a sense, the worse you feel about your pain, the more you are thinking on your pain, the more you're worrying or fearful about your pain, literally the worse it becomes. It's like scratching an itch that keeps scratching, you know?
Itches,
And this was really a revelation for me and really kind of forced me to think about, well, what were other things going on in my life when I sustained that injury? I don't need to go into all the personal and family stuff, but
it made you recall and like have to process what you were experiencing.
Right. And, you know, and so it's a real stretch to kind of make a direct comparison, right, from the chronic pain to the perimenopause as like, what's the word? Etiologies, like they're very different kinds of like manifestations of medical, physical things. But what I was trained with through the chronic pain learning was the ability to pay attention to like symptoms and pay attention to what I'm feeling in my body. And to be curious about that without being judgmental about it. Right? Like if I had just been like, what the hell? I'm gaining weight. You know, beating myself up for like, for gaining weight really quickly. I could be like, I've never gained weight in quite this way before. Like, why might that be happening? Could it be related to the fact that I feel so tired? You know? Or could it be related to the fact that like my thinking just doesn't feel as sharp or clear as it did? Like, you know, could these things be connected? What could be going on with me instead of just being angry at my body for failing?
Yeah.
Kind of be like to exercise sort of like compassionate curiosity. So I think it's really hard to
Big
do
part.
because our culture does not really train that in us. It trains us to be like demanding, judgmental, self-critical.
That's one thing I tell a lot of my clients that come to me about wanting to lose weight and having this hard time losing weight is be accepting of where you are and where you're starting at. And then once they do that, then the weight starts to come off. So it's so related.
And that it's kind of like the goal is not necessarily, I mean, maybe the goal is to be real thin. I don't know, but that's not a realistic goal. Like I think the goal is to feel as good as possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's kind of like, what does it take sort of physically and psychologically for people to feel good?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, if you're exercising to feel good, it's going to make you feel good whether or not it results in like weight loss. And I'm drawing on some conversations there from some friends who have been really good teachers to me about like fat positivity and fat acceptance and fat phobia. You know, I have some friends who are fat and do tremendous amounts of exercise.
Yes.
Actually like really gifted athletes.
Yes.
And they're just like, you know what? I might never be thin, but like kind of people
we have so many different body types
and work out so much.
Yeah, it's so many different body types. Everybody is not built to be super thin or super big, super small, whatever. It's so many ranges in between. Like myself, a lot of people look at me and they think that, oh, you should be like 100 pounds because I'm more petite. But then when I tell them how much I weigh, they're like, oh.
Well, and your muscle is very dense.
Yeah.
And you got a lot of muscle, you know.
I'm
but that's like
package.
Right. If you're working out and working out and working out, but still feeling really crummy about yourself and like not feeling okay psychologically or emotionally or whatever, like I do think that's going to impact how you feel in your body too. I really think it does.
Yeah. And what I thought, like, what came to mind when you was like trying to get the two to kind of cross relate, what came to mind about your back pain and like perimenopause or like menstruation? You know, one of the symptoms that I experienced as a menstruating woman is like back pain when you come on your menstrual cycle.
Yeah.
So I was like, maybe that was cross-tied with having pain in the low back and experiencing differences or changes with the menstrual cycle or with the with your estrogen levels and stuff with the hormones.
You know, it's so interesting, Isha. The thing that reminds me of is, again, paying attention and thinking about what's going to be right for you in the moment. You know, when I was suffering from like my worst period symptoms, no way could I like get on an exercise bike and work out when I was feeling that way. And something I've really had to learn, and I think a lot of people learn also as we work to kind of undo some of that nervous system problem that can lead to chronic pain or whatever, is slowing down to listen and to exercise. Part of what it means to take care of yourself is to hold yourself accountable when it makes sense to hold yourself accountable, and to give yourself grace and a little bit of a free pass when you need a free pass. You know, some days I show up to our workouts and I just say, Isha, I can't.
Yes.
And you'll say, all right, we're doing yoga on the mat today. And some days that's not all the time, right? But it's like sometimes I have to push myself to do the workout because I know I can. And then the trade-off is other days I'm gonna be a little easier and tender on myself because I'm not feeling great. And so it's like figuring out how to balance like that
Yeah.
rest and pushing yourself is really hard. It's gonna look different for different people, I think.
Yes, and that is something I'm personally learning in this season of my life. We're getting older, and that grace as I give other people. So yeah, because I extend a lot of grace. I extend a lot of olive branches to the people around me because I see, that hey, we do need to dial back. But sometimes, like in my past life experience, I wouldn't be so quick to give that same grace to myself. So in the season now, I've been doing that a lot more, and it
Good
does
for
help.
you.
It does.
This is wisdom, right?
Yeah, yes. Yes. And I do Wisdom Wednesdays because it is a Wednesday.
Nice.
Oh man. Is there anything else that you would like to share about the book The Way Out? And inner child healing, chronic pain healing that has helped you.
That's really interesting. I mean, I'm trying to remember. It's been a while since I read that book. But I think just really coming to understand that there's just so much we don't understand about the interlocking of our psychological, emotional worlds and our physical bodies. And so I really just, I'm trying to pay attention to that. My back pain is always with me. It is here with me right now.
Mm-hmm.
It is with me. It's just like a little dude in my right sacroiliac joint, and I think what I've been learning is just trying to like tone down the volume on it and not think that just because it's there that I'm broken, that my body is weak, that I can't do things. And unfortunately, for a while when the pain first appeared, that was how I thought about it. I was really depressed. And so now I'm like, I kind of go like, shh, you're here. I see you. You might always be with me. But that doesn't mean that we're a wreck. And that's kind of how I'm trying to learn to talk to like little Abby that lives inside me.
Yes.
Feels like, hurt or criticized or abandoned, all those pain feelings that people carry around with us. It's like, you're here. I see you. I'm not leaving you. I'm just going to try to take care of you. Right. So it's saying to my body, like, I'm going to try to take care of you. I don't know exactly what that looks like.
Right.
But we're going to try to keep moving and we're going to stick together. And like, you're not bad for feeling pain. My back is not bad for feeling pain. Little me is not bad, for hurting also. And we kind of just have to like move together. It always into the future, right? With intention, I would say
Oh no. You know so good.
I'm very scared of my body kind of deteriorating, but that is like a challenge I have to like live into and grow into. So that's my work.
Yes. Oh man. Okay, so that's all the questions that I have for you for this interview today. Is there anything that you have upcoming that you want to make the audience aware of? Do you have any social media that you want to share? Cause like that pamphlet that
My little zine.
the zine, yes, I would love love for you to share that with me. And if possible, I would love to share that somehow, some way with the audience too, because I think that would be amazing.
Maybe we could scan it and I could send you a PDF and people can like print it and stuff. I'm really pulling back from social media, and it's like, I don't know that people need to find me, but what I would say is it, like the kids say these days, to go touch grass, right?
Yes.
I would say just go for a walk. Honestly, go for a walk, ideally out in nature. Find an easy trail that you can hike. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be sporty. It doesn't have to make you break a sweat. Just kind of start wherever you are and see what happens if you find a way to give yourself the opportunity to just kind of slow your mind down, let your body move. You don't have to think about it too much. In fact, you want to dial down some of your thinking. And younger me would have thought this was way too woo-woo. The perimenopausal me is ready.
All right.
So, go for a little walk. That's where you
Awesome.
can find me, in the woods.
Get moving, get grooving. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. If you can't crawl, scoot. If you can't do either of that, ask somebody else to take you.
Or lie on your back and do some of the movements that you have me do with the windshield wipers. That always makes my lower back feel good.
Yes. Whatever you need to do, get moving. All right, you guys. Okay, you got any last words?
No, I just want to thank you for being so amazing and being a trainer to someone who thought that they would never in the world have a trainer. That's you.
Yes, I am grateful that I could be that. All right, you guys, this has been the Taylor Training Podcast. You can find us at taylortrainingcoaching.com. Give us a follow on Instagram at Taylor Training. And you can check us out over on YouTube at Taylor Training Media. As always, everything is motivation, peace, and blessings.